Sometimes the truth we fear the most is the one that sets us free. Miss Polly grabbed the phone. She stared at it for a moment, then finally answered. Yes, sweetheart? Mom, how are you doing? Everything's fine. Mary's being discharged the day after tomorrow. Mom, I can't make it. Just by a day, really. Please make everything nice, like it should be. You've got the money, or take it from the drawer. Miss Polly smiled. Stop it, honey. Do you really think I'd be stingy when it comes to my only grandson? Of course not, Mom. Just don't be mad. She instantly guessed what her son meant, or rather, who he meant. Mom, Dad called. He wants to congratulate his grandson, too. Don't be mad. He'll only stop by for an hour. He says he's got some amazing gift. Of course, Miss Polly would have loved to send her ex-husband packing, but she couldn't say no to her son, especially since Michael had supported David all his life, and her too. Their marriage had been so short it could be turned into a joke. They met, started seeing each other, ended up living together somehow, and then Miss Polly got pregnant. Michael immediately said he couldn't live with her. Polly, don't take it the wrong way, but you're like a general in a skirt. I don't want to become your shadow, and that's inevitable. Either that or daily fights. You'll understand I'm right later. But I'm not abandoning the child. Let's just quietly get married, and then, when the baby turns 1, quietly get divorced. I won't leave you. Miss Polly tried everything to keep handsome Mike. Honestly, she'd even lured him into bed with some tricks. But all efforts were in vain. Mike remained polite and neutral. They divorced, not without drama, of course. At first, Michael often came around, took little David for walks, helped with money. But when their son turned 5, Michael said he was moving abroad. He called David often, sent even more money than before. But toward Polly, he showed no warmth. Once, she even said to him, You just ran away yourself, and now you've set our son up for the same future, haven't you? Polly, it's not just your bad temper. You've got mental issues, too. I don't have other words. Oh, how she hated him, because Mike was always right, and because he always saw in her what she tried so hard to hide from everyone else. She paused for a moment to calm down. So many years without seeing Michael, and still something stirred inside her. Now she realized he'd been right about a lot of things. Since then, 3 husbands had run from Polly, but she didn't hold grudges. She got something out of each one, at least financially. Besides, they were boring. All right, sweetheart, if it matters to you. Thanks, Mom. And Mary wants to meet him, too. They've never met, you know. You know, Mom, something started beeping on Dad's line. Polly called hello a few times, but got no reply. She was used to it. Her son David worked as a truck driver, and the connection on the road would come and go. Miss Polly looked around. Everything seemed fine, ready. She had talked with Mary over the phone. They agreed the guests would come the day after David arrived. Tomorrow, Polly would just pick up her daughter-in-law and grandson from the hospital. Even better. Let the baby settle in a bit first, get used to the environment. And she could finally show Mary how to handle a baby. The girl knew absolutely nothing. It was hard for her to accept that her precious son no longer belonged just to her. She'd been ready to tear Mary apart. But as a smart woman, Polly understood that would only drive her son away. So she had to swallow her pride, accept Mary, and even pretend to be happy about it. Mary, by the way, turned out to be not such a bad girl. No pushover. She could talk back, but always within respectful limits. Just recently, Miss Polly had to admit she got lucky. It could have been worse. Mary could have been some gold-digging troublemaker. The next day, Polly was just about to leave for the hospital when the doorbell rang. "Who's coming at such a time?" she muttered. She rushed to the door and froze. Mary stood there, tears in her eyes, holding a bundle. "Mary, what happened? Why didn't you wait for me?" Polly grabbed the baby and carried it into the room. Mary followed. The woman laid the bundle on the bed, started unwrapping it, and suddenly froze. "Mary, what is this?" The young woman burst into tears. "I don't know. I really don't know." Polly looked at her sharply. "All right. The baby's not to blame, of course. You can take whatever you need, but be gone within the hour, and don't you dare mention David's name or call him ever again. You know what you are after this." Miss Polly was trembling with rage. So this was love? To get pregnant with another man's baby while having a young, decent husband. She knew it. She just knew it. Miss Polly should have picked a bride for her son herself. She just knew it. There he was, lying in a bundle of white lace in the hospital, a baby boy, very dark-skinned. So dark it was obvious. His father wasn't from this country, probably from very far away. How could Mary? Although, was it really that strange? David was rarely at home, and Mary studied at a university full of dark-skinned students. An hour later, the door slammed. Miss Polly didn't even come out to greet her. It hurt, for her son and for herself. She had just accepted Mary, had just begun to feel happy about becoming a grandmother, and now this slap in the face. Now she had to figure out how to tell her son. She'd rather do it in person when he arrived, but what if he called Mary before that? Let him. Let his beloved tell him whose baby she was really carrying. Let him figure out what to do next. Go back to her parents, maybe? They lived 300 kilometers away. Bet they hadn't seen a baby like this in their parts. That evening, her son tried to call. Miss Polly heard him say hello a couple of times, but the signal was so bad he eventually gave up. She didn't know if he had managed to reach Mary. She decided just to wait. In the morning, she made a couple of salads, not because they were needed, just to keep herself busy. She sat down thinking Mary had seemed like a normal, loving girl. And now this? She spent 4 days in the hospital and never once showed the baby. Every time Polly asked, everything's fine. So David knew nothing, and if she hadn't told him, that meant she knew she was guilty. How could she not know? A car pulled up in front of the house. Miss Polly even crossed herself and went out to meet her son. David wasn't alone. Where he had found Michael was a mystery. But her son got out of the taxi, opened the door for his father, and then Michael reached out to help someone else out. Miss Polly frowned with disgust. Did he bring his wife too? What would be left of him now? But the one stepping out of the car wasn't a wife. Miss Polly's eyes widened. Michael helped out an older man, at least over 60, though his exact age was hard to guess because he was completely dark-skinned. Polly clutched her chest. Michael's skin was lighter, but the resemblance was there. She couldn't say a word. A puzzle started to form in her head. Michael used to joke when they were young that his mom brought him back from an overseas trip, though he never talked much about it. Back then, talking too much could get you in trouble. He only told her when he turned 20. From that moment on, he dreamed of finding his father. Looks like he finally did after her ex-husband moved abroad. If that man was his father, that couldn't be. Miss Polly actually said it out loud. Her son looked at her surprised, then laughed. I had the same reaction, he said, and I didn't even inherit his skin tone. Neither did Dad. Michael chuckled. If you only knew my reaction, but it happens. Traits can skip generations. Now show me where my grandson is, and he's excited to meet him too. David watched his mother closely. Mom, what's wrong? Is something wrong with Mary? Or the baby? They weren't discharged? I didn't call them on purpose. I wanted to surprise them. Miss Polly looked at Michael. Oh, you sure made a surprise, but it wasn't you, David? As usual, it was your father. No, Mary isn't here. I sent her away. Her and that dark-skinned baby. What else was I supposed to think? That she cheated on you? Michael shook his head, and Miss Polly suddenly felt like a complete fool. David, I didn't mean to. I didn't know. Why are you looking at me like that? I was thinking of you. Her son pulled his arm away and rushed toward the car, pulling his phone out of his pocket. Michael called after him, David, I'm coming with you. Polly ran after them shouting, Why? Why are you blaming me? I just wanted what was right. No one warned me. The car revved and sped off, leaving Miss Polly in a cloud of dust. David, I just wanted what's best for you. The right thing. That day, David didn't come home. He didn't call. He didn't answer. Miss Polly eventually called Michael. He rejected the call. 2 weeks later, she found out from a friend of a friend that David had rented an apartment downtown. He was now living there with Michael and the dark-skinned grandfather. Her friend told her that Michael and his father were paying for the apartment. They were apparently also buying a place for the grandson, a gift. That old man was rich, supposedly. They were planning to leave the country for good. Oh, and one more thing. They had a party to celebrate the baby's tiny feet. The boy was very cute, they said, dark-skinned, but with familiar features. Very handsome. Every word felt like a knife turning in Miss Polly's heart. So they even had a little celebration for the baby's tiny feet, and everything was going well for them, only she knew nothing. Apparently, she didn't deserve to know. Some inner voice whispered that maybe she really didn't. It served her right. How could she have thrown out a woman with a newborn baby? If only David had come himself and figured things out. David, don't turn away. Please, listen to me. David looked at his wife in surprise. Mary, what's with the riddles? They were walking through the park with a stroller. Inside, baby Nikita was sleeping with his little arms spread out. Mary had noticed Miss Polly yesterday, sneaking behind bushes, watching them with greedy eyes. Yesterday, Mary pretended not to notice, but today she had seen the woman wiping tears with her handkerchief, hiding, shrinking into the shrubs so that neither she nor David would spot her. Mary suddenly felt sorry for her. Yes, there had been hurt. But who knows how another mother-in-law might have reacted to a grandchild like theirs? David, I think you should make peace with your mom. No, don't even say anything. What if something had happened to us? What could have happened? It's not the Stone Age. It's not like she threw me out the moment I arrived. She told me to pack and go later. And I'm guilty too. I was silent. I got scared. I couldn't even speak. Maybe everything would have come out earlier if I had. But why are you suddenly defending her? Mary looked tenderly at her son. Who knows what kind of mother-in-law I'll be? I might do even worse things for the sake of our son. David chuckled. I don't know, Mary. She didn't even call. Because she knew you wouldn't talk to her. And now you're offering I run to her and ask forgiveness? David frowned at Mary. Of course, he was worried about his mother, but what she had done, it was awful. Look to our side. See those tall bushes? There's a woman standing behind them. She was hiding there yesterday, too, while we walked. Maybe she follows us every day. David turned and saw his mother right away. Miss Polly didn't notice him looking. She was once again wiping away her unwanted tears. Suddenly, someone next to her said softly, Come on, Mom. That's enough hiding. Let's go meet your grandson. She dropped her handkerchief, rushed to her son, and threw her arms around his neck, then turned to Mary. Oh, Mary, forgive me, this foolish old woman. Meet Miss Polly, Mary said gently. This is Nick. With trembling hands, the woman carefully stroked her grandson's tiny hand and broke into tears completely. If you like this story, I'd be so grateful if you'd support me with a thumbs up. Thank you.